So as we studied that sexual reproduction in flower consists of 4 parts. That is, the 4 part is calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. In your level you are supposed to study 4 name over here. That is calyx, corolla. Calyx is made up of sepals, corolla is made up of petals. Then you have to study stamen and you have to study pistil. So I am drawing a flower, I am showing you everything to you. Now see over here, this is a petal, this is over here a sepal. This one, bigger one, which is there inside a flower like this way, right? There are 2 types of things. This is called as stamen and this is called as pistil. Stamen is made up of 2 parts, right? Stamen is made up of 2 parts. One is this stalk like structure and one is this one. This is called as anther and this is called as filament. Okay, here we have got a 3 type of things, that is stigma, style and ovary. Now this is called as a female part, it is a male part. If only stamen is present, then that flower is male flower. If only female part, that is only pistil is present, it is called as a female plant. Or if both is there, it is called as bisexual flower. Okay, so you are now familiar with 2 things. Okay, stamen is a male reproductive and carpel or pistil is a female reproductive. If both is there, bisexual. If only one is there, unisexual. Bisexual flowers are corn, papaya, cucumber, right? Sorry, these are unisexual, and bisexual flowers are mustard, rose. These are bisexual flowers. Now what happens over here is, you can see in structure, this anther is there, it releases a pollen grain. So when it releases a pollen grain, it goes inside to this part, into the stigma, and then it goes downward into the ovary. In ovary, they have got ovules. These ovules and a pollen grain will combine together and they will form a new flower like structure gradually, right? So what will happen, that you are not going to study in this level, but for you it forms a small embryo. After that it forms a seed, and from seed a new flower is produced. So how it occurs? But plant stands at their own place, they don't move. Then how the pollen grain is transferring from one place to another? Amatya, how will this pollen grain go? So there are 2 types of things, self-pollination and cross-pollination. What is pollination? The process of moving a pollen grain from stamen to carpel. Other name of carpel is pistil. So stamen to carpel, the way of pollen grain is called as pollination. It is of 2 types, self and cross. Self means you can see very clearly over here, right? The pollen tube, pollen grain goes from one flower to other flower, same flower itself. And if a stamen is in one flower and pistil is of other flower, then it is called as cross pollination. Alright, now once the pollen grain will go into the pollen, into this carpel, then what will happen? Here it forms a pollen tube. Here itself one ovum is present. So the pollen grain react with ovum. One pollen grain, one ovum. They will react, they will do the fusion. Fusion means mix together, and they will form a zygote. Now what do you mean by zygote? Zygote means a which part develop into embryo, right? And now what is embryo? zygote develop into embryo develop into a uh, next generation fruit or flower, right? Now what will happen? Now it is very interesting. Now see over here, this wall,